Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Viamance back in the Card Fight Vanguard video, so I hope you guys enjoyed them. Like, comment, subscribe, started, shall we? So this time I'm doing something I guess I've done before, but not really for Vanguard, and that is watch a video that I've done before and react to it and give my commentary on. The reason why I want to do it for this one specifically is because there are a lot of things that happened in this game between Dragon Empire, my Nirvana Jiva / Nirvana cross deck, and that happened against Viamance Bruce when I first knew about Viamance Bruce's skill. And there's a lot I want to say about this game, why I did certain things, why I chose to match him in the first place. So go and get started and watch it, and hopefully I'll be able to keep this up on dialogue. I'm just going to lower this volume down a bit so I can talk over it when I need to. Full screen it, baby. Ah, yes, the intro I've had for like, I think it's been 3 years now since I've had this intro, which is great.
Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
The Patreon plug.
Before we start the video, this is the skill for Viamance Bruce we are going to use. It is not 100% confirmed, but it's the skill we have, so that's the version we're going to use. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the video started, and I hope you guys enjoy.
And my disclaimer for people knowing that at the time when this was released, of course, I didn't know what Viamance's Bruce's official skill would actually be. And I'm just gonna turn this back down again so I can talk. But yeah, I didn't know officially what Viamance Bruce's skill would be. So this was kind of like based off of, you know, the fandom, and not always the fandom right, but I did believe that the fandom was right on this occasion, especially because apparently it had been leaked before from the anime, and I got more confirmation on this later before the anime actually officially aired with the skill. So I was like, okay, fair enough, I can trust the fact that it was here. So now anyways, there's nothing important that happens in game 1 that I want to talk about specifically, so this I guess allows me to talk about this match in particular. So, the reason why I chose this match is because when I learned Viamance's Bruce's skill, I noticed something that, or like, I've known this for a while, where compared to other Vanguard YouTubers, this is not me calling out other Vanguard YouTubers, what I have as an advantage, I have speed. Because for those of you that don't know, my ass gets up, that was a perfectly timed voice crack, I get up at like 2 a.m. in the morning to do the Ezreal and the Vandy videos. Like, no joke, I'm not lying. Like, when the times of reveals happen for me, they happen at like, they start the reveals at essentially, the stream starts at 2 a.m. and they don't really reveal stuff till 2:30 a.m. So technically I don't have to wake up till 2:30, but I want to, you know, make sure I'm there for the stream. So I wake up at 2 a.m. and I get the reveals, I start recording, or I've already started recording the previous day, and then I edit the videos, and then I have them ready for the morning where I find the last few reveals and I edit those, and then I put them up. And that's kind of like my advantage. Like, I don't have quality. Like, compared to other YouTubers like Different Fight, Top Deck Heroes, what was that other Vanguard? Nexus Core, and then there was one other that I remember watching. But the point is, like, compared to those guys and other channels, of course, not just them, like, they're the big ones that I remember off the top of my head, I don't have, like, cool visual editing effects like they do. Like, the most I have is this, where I'm just, like, writing words out, and that's pretty much it. And the reason why it's like that's not because I don't want to do bigger ones, because I definitely have ideas for bigger edits. Like, that's why I love Thera so much, or like when we were doing the Thera uploads, because those in my opinion are like a lot easier to edit to me. Like, they feel more comfortable editing, and those are the ones I'm allowed to like try super big projects in and, you know, go like advancements on the editing. But for these ones, like, these ones take a long time to edit already, and I don't really want to stack more on them, so I'm not really able to go all in with them. So all I really do have to, for there, is just have the talks and then just, you know, have the fight with the thing, and I completely went off track with the story. Oh yeah, but, point was, like, the fact that I saw Bruce immediately, and I was like, I've seen no one else cover it, like, no joke, I Googled, or I YouTube searched it to see if anyone else covered it, and no one did. So I was like, you know what, I trust I have to take the gamble here. It's either the fandom's lying, and I have, and I'm about to risk like a huge thing, like if I do this, people are gonna think that I'm untrustworthy, or like not have the capabilities to look up something very simple if the skill is real or not, or I could be one of the first people to give a hot take on it. And I was like, you know what, sometimes in life you gotta take the gamble, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take this gamble. I have 100% faith in the fandom, and that faith was well placed, because the fandom gave me, not like, if we're going word for word, it wasn't the right skill, but effect for effect, it's the right skill, because the wording is ever so slightly different on the official card, but it means it does the same exact thing. It just has a different wording. So it's very, I guess I felt like really confident in it, and I ended up choosing to do a lot of test battles, and I wanted to post it in the thing, and that's why I always gave people the choice, like, do you want me to use this in a fight or not? And a lot of people said yes immediately. I think at the time that I had this officially recorded, a total of 2 people had said no, everyone else had said yes. So I was like, cool, I should totally do this fight, and people are gonna love it. And honest to God, I genuinely enjoyed filming this, because and I'll get to this when we get to game 2, but how close is game 2? Okay, not for a while. So The thing about this was, the reason why I chose specifically Nirvana is because Nirvana, as we all know, especially with this new set, because we can see, like, we have the support boy over here, we have this one, and this deck did get changed, like, the second after this match was done, because we got new releases after this match was done, and I really wish I did. But the reason why I want to choose Nirvana Jiva is because everyone shits on Nirvana Jiva, because, you know, it's, and I'm sorry if I'm talking over the music and you guys came from the music, I just really want to get this off my chest, and a lot of people shit on Nirvana Jiva, and I get that because, you know, Mahar was just really good, and apparently was really good competitively. I don't care about competitively on all this, but I've seen competitive charts, and I've seen that, like, Mahar was, maybe not dominating, but was definitely in the top ones when it first came out. I don't know how it did afterwards, because frankly I don't care, but you know how it is. But when Jiva came out, a lot of people were, like, giving it no chance, and I'm like, guys, the deck just came out. You have to remember, Mahar had not only a trial deck going into it, but 4 sets of support and a festival collection before it became, like, its quote-unquote final version. And then it got another festival collection. So in total, Mahar had 6, or if we really want to give it the benefit of the doubt, 4 and about 2, like, extra boosters of support, which isn't a fair bet to do to Nirvana Jiva, who only had 1 set of support at the time. But I was like, okay, fair enough. Those are fair arguments. Then we got to set 7. Set 7 really just put Nirvana into a counterblast heavy situation, and in my opinion, if you tried using bar consistently, you got into a soul problem. Set 8 was a Minerva Rising, so it didn't really do anything for Mahar, and now set 9. Set 9, I think a lot of us are decently upset at because they didn't do anything for Nirvana. I think a lot of us on our wishes for Nirvana Jiva was either give us a counter charger, give us better cross-dress, like, I guess, support, or, like, I guess, in my opinion, give us a, like, crossover dress searcher. What Bushy did, give us a Trickstar Searcher in the form of this grade 1, give us a way to recycle our cross-dresses, which I said before in my, like, one of my videos, that my problem isn't getting them on the board, or, like, my problem isn't getting them into the drop zone or getting them out of drop. Because that was what I was doing when I was talking about Bruins Arena, it's getting them into my hand, and simply sending them back, like, isn't good, especially because for the crossover dress support, all 3 cards that they released were specifically for overdress and crossover dress. You weren't supposed to use them, because this boy over here, he should have searched crossover dress, but instead he only searches overdress and trickstars, which granted has been really helpful in games lately, but in the position that they made this in, it felt really useless to me. And, like, the fact that they had the audacity, like, they're just trying to sweep crossover just under the rug, like, oh yeah, we made a mistake, but it never happened. We just made this as an anime deck for the main character to seem overpowered, but in reality, it's not really that good. And it kind of sucked, because I really loved crossover just as a mechanic, and I still play it, and I very much like it. I like it as much as I like regular overdress, if not every slightly more somehow now. But, which will be explained later, but also I'm just gonna raise this because I like this theme a lot, and Elegance by Satori's theme for Dark Regulars. But yeah, no, it was kind of just, like, disappointing, you know, hearing it all, and kind of just having Jiva be disappointment there. So I was like, you know what, we have a new Bruce who he doesn't have any support outside of Final Rush, which, by the way, the Final Rush support for Bruce works amazing. Like, there's only 2 cards now, or 3 cards now that have Final Burst in their keyword, or actually there's only 2 that actually have Final Burst, but, like, straight up, the Final Rush support does so well for Bruce that honestly, outside of the orders and the main phase restricted ones, you don't really need other support cards for him, which is great. But you know, having, like, Nirvana go up against Bruce, it felt, like, poetic, having the 2 new decks, or, like, the 2 reborn versions of very, like, I guess, I would argue old Bruce was powerful. Maybe not super powerful, but I'd argue he was powerful, because if you let him get a Final Rush, you were not living that turn. So, like, having 2 new forms of those really old decks, or not really old, but, you know, olden style decks, it felt like a nice way to enter Bruce into the world. And honestly, Bruce dominated this match. Like I said, I would talk about when we got to Game 2, but Game 2 is about to come up, so I'll say this now. This game had a total of 6 matches. This Game 1 was the genuine Game 1. Game 2 was my 4th game. And I'll explain that when we get to Game 2. And Game 3 was my 6th game. And it was a whole thing. And we're about to enter Game 2, so I guess I might as well say it now. Game 2, for the original Game 2, you know how in this game where Nirvana didn't draw its cross-dresses? Well, guess what? In Game 2, the real one, before this one, it didn't draw a single Prayer Dragon. Yep, they didn't draw a single Prayer Dragon, even with Ryu's Search, so they just bricked the entire game, and when they finally drew a Prayer Dragon, it was on the last turn and it was too late. They couldn't do anything. Bruce was at 2 damage. They literally couldn't win. And it was a massacre. Game 3, I gave up halfway through simply because Bruce had went first, got a crit, got an over, while Nirvana was at 3 damage. I could have done the damage check, but like in that situation, Nirvana didn't have a PG, and there was still the unit that had the over boost on it on the rear guard, so Nirvana was guaranteedly dead anyways unless the over got sacked. So I just didn't feel like doing that game, and then this game 2 came along, and this game 2 is really great. For those of you that don't know, spoiler alert, Nirvana wins this one, and I don't know what was about to happen there, but either way, like, you know it's a thing. But this game 2 was very interesting to me because this was a match where I was actually like tempted to give up, because I was like, come on Nirvana, you gotta win this one, my guy. I really wanted Nirvana to win, because if you don't know, I always like having 3 games because it just allows for a benefit, and I rarely like having a bonus game 3 where the one side just sweeps the other side, because it makes the other side seem weak in my opinion. Like, at least if you guys don't know about it, then it seems like even if I just make the original game 3 game 2, and that's the game that the deck won in. But all around it's just like weird. But then there's like games like these where you struggle so much, but then you make it through in the end, because in this matchup, I want to be very clear, I was not playing like myself on the Nirvana side. This side over here, I was playing like myself. Like, at this point, I had played like 20-something games with this new Bruce. I knew what I was doing with this one. This Nirvana deck was literally just built the day of, like an hour before, or not even an hour, like 30 minutes before I started recording, because we had just got these cards. And I'm gonna tell you right now, in case you haven't seen it yet, this card does absolutely nothing in this deck, and that's why I took it out immediately. This one, and I'm about to get to this, actually does something just not in this game. And the reasoning for this is because the way I was playing Nirvana, I was playing to win. For those of you that don't know, when I play to win, I play extremely I play a lot more cautiously than I normally do. Like, when I'm playing just in general, I love to take risks. Like, that's why in some decks, I'll just willingly call a PG, because fuck it, and it's fun to do it. Hell, I would have done it in this deck if the PG had Diabolos, so I could actually use Bruce's final burst skill, but, you know, because he requires you to have all Diaboloses, I can't do that. But, and I've done it in Nirvana too, where I'll just call PG randomly. But when I'm playing to win, I genuinely, and I think that's how most people do it, I am a lot more cautious. And that's what I did here. Like, in a normal case, and I figured this out because after I played this game, I played more games with Nirvana where I got to play this grade 1 more. And I tell you what, I used this grade 1 so much in matches outside of this game that I began to question why didn't I use it. And I realized it's because I wanted Nirvana to win so badly that I was willing to, like, change my entire playstyle just to see Nirvana come out on top. And in my opinion, that made for, like, and that's why I wanted to actually say this. That is the sole reason why I wanted to make this video in the first place, is because I wanted to say during this match, I was genuinely playing to win. Like, there wasn't a me playing for fun. Well, I mean, yeah, there's the me playing for fun on the Bruce side, but there was the me just actually wanting Nirvana to come out on top against all, especially with those 2 games, actually those 3 games, because again, I said this was game 4, technically speaking, especially like those 3 games before where Nirvana just lost 3 times in a row, and I really wanted to win, so by any means. So, like, me having this match was, like, so important to me that I wanted to win above all else. So I went all in thinking of every counter plan, you know, who's useful, what can I cross over just into the Persona Rise. I played this deck enough knowing that I should probably shut down the Eden. Like, and even then, like, even if you plan to shut down the Eden, shit like this happens. I swear to you, it happens like every game where the drive check of Bruce will always sack a trigger. And I tell you what, it's so annoying because the first grade 3 turn, it seems to consistently sack either a front or a crit. And it's so annoying to the point where I've just stopped blocking Bruce in general because I know a trigger is coming. And it's, like, not worth 1 to passing. Fuck, it's not even worth 2 to passing because you're just wasting guard power. I might as well use it on the Eden that I think I may have, actually no, I didn't discount the Eden's number because I'm at 33. But yeah. So it comes down to this, and I think this was the situation where I finally used Regalio. If it was, I'm proud of myself. If it wasn't, then I'm not. I ditched the Garo for the skill. Yeah, that was the moment. That's the moment right there. Because in any other case, what I would have done is I would have called you, moved this back, searched my deck for a Trickstar, or maybe I didn't have a Trickstar left. I know one of these guys I didn't have a Trickstar left, and that's why I didn't use its skill when I tried to. But I would have called it, and then I would have crossed overdressed into a Garu Virina and crossed overdressed into a Bar Virina and had it retire the board, or not Bar, Braum Virina, and have it retire the board and drop guarding power. And that's honestly what I would have done. But in this case, again, I say I was playing to win, so none of that was on my mind. All that was on my mind here is surviving to the next turn. Like, me seeing this crit that was my saving grace. Because here's the thing, obviously if you don't know, and if I haven't given away about my choice of talking, I play both decks in almost every match I use on this channel, so I'm always like aware of the hand, but I never really take account into the hand because I can make my mind go blank within 5 seconds of what's in the opponent's hand, which is why I play against myself a lot. But yeah, no, like, me getting that crate, even if I didn't have knowledge the PG was in hand, I know myself, I know my thought process would have been, great, this is my way to guarantee I live to my next turn, because I can put it on Bruins, make them drop that PG, and force out a rear guard column, especially because I know they need CB for the next turn, so I might as well make them drop. And now that Eden coming down, that Eden coming down as a top deck with a Persona ride, that was not the best feeling, especially knowing, like, the pure chaos. And then the Julian double soul charge, I tell you what, like, every moment of this turn specifically, I remember I was shaking, like, no, I can't, I've come too far, because I've already wasted, like, a total of, like, counting game 1, I had wasted almost an hour now, if not an hour, trying to get Nirvana to win, and I just feel like, come on Nirvana, you have to win this, I have to go soon, and I really want to get this game recorded, because we're running low on time, I really need this to be in my favor, and thankfully in the end, Nirvana managed to come out on top, small spoiler, but like, being in this situation, I'm gonna pause it right here, because being in this situation, my thought process, actually wait, no, sorry, never mind, it wasn't the situation, because the issue was from the in another situation. I thought it wasn't this game, it was another game, but in another game it was in this situation where the Julian was standing, and again I say, every time I play against Bruce, or like this specific Bruce deck, it always stacks a crit in the worst possible moment, and I was like at 4 damage, I'm like, no, don't do this to me. In fact, that does happen in another game that did end up on camera, just not for this match, but where I was at 4 damage and it literally came down to if Bruce pulls a crit or not, and it happened on the first drive check, and I was like, god fucking damn it. And I was trying so hard too, because the worst part is that was during a game where Bruce had already won, and I was trying to get a match where the other deck won. So, in just Bruce sacking that crit, like, I hated it so much. And here comes game 3. Game 3, I don't remember much from it. I remember game 3 was a game I actually wanted to talk about, but I actually I should probably pay attention, because this was, like I said, a game I wanted to talk about. But it all around, like, this was a match where, but this one right here, I guess it was probably me, like, being with Nirvana, like, I kind of have to win this. Wait, shit, did Nirvana win this? I don't remember now if Nirvana won or not. I actually don't remember who won this game. I feel like it was Bruce. Because spoiler alert for a video next week, but I swear on my life that Bruce won this. But the thing is, because of that video that I recorded earlier today, I have the feeling Nirvana won. I actually don't know. It's a good thing I'm rewatching this on camera. But anyways, yeah, it's just a whole thing. But yeah, here, like, this is a standard attack pattern I have, which is like the calling of the rear guards, because with this new Bruce, I can feel to be so much more aggressive because I have access to Final Rush a turn early, so I can force pressure now, and unless my board gets retired, I'm literally not losing anything. Like, that's what I love the difference between this new Bruce and the old one, is because, like, you can feel free to unleash all your power a turn early and go into an actual Final Rush an early turn. But, yeah, it's just that. But I guess, oh yeah, well, I guess I can kind of go back to talking to my point about, like, how I play differently from playing to win and playing to not to win. Because I tell you what, when I play this deck outside of this, where'd he go? Outside of this grade 2, which I eventually did change, but, like, when I play this deck not to win, just to play it for fun, I tell you what, I pull off some stupid anime shenanigans. Like, this card, like, he does his job, I wouldn't say hard carries, but does his job well when I'm not playing to win, when I'm just playing for fun. And so does Brahamada, which is why I still run Brahamada, because he's honestly my favorite prayer dragon. And like I said before, like, if I'm not playing to win, and this game, like I said, I was playing to win, I'm genuinely, like, I want to say I'm smarter, but because I'm running more on instinct, I'm not remotely cautious, and I just, like, feel confident in my deck's abilities, and I just don't have to overthink something, like, because overthinking is your worst enemy. And I can think of that many games where, not just me or, like, my friends, but I've seen other games where a lot of people, you can tell they overthink something because either their eyes shift or, like, their hands move and they're about to do something and they take it back. It's like, you can tell they're overthinking it because this is something they would do in a normal situation, but their mind is getting the best of them. And honest to God, like, that happened in another video too that was also recorded, I think it may have been uploaded this week. Maybe not the week of this recording, but this week, as in, like, the week of the 21st, I guess. But, where you know where like there's a smarter decision you want to do, but you feel like it's in the situation right now, any other time it would look dumb on paper, so like you just instead want to play it safe and not do it, but in the end that's what screws you over in the end. And I can think of like many games in my general where I've done that, and it sucks knowing that, especially in this match where I really did want Nirvana to come out on top, so anything I could do to keep a hold of that, I did. And the reason why you see I pressure the Vanguard instead of going for the rear guards is, again, I'm not a competitive player. I know you're not supposed to give Nirvana counterblast, but even with Bruce, like, again, this deck is very aggressive. If you can push your opponent to like 3 damage, they're already in kill range. Fuck, 2 damage is kill range with Bruce. Trust me, I've killed people at 2 damage with Bruce on first grade 3 turns, so it's this Bruce specifically, so it's not impossible. But like being in this situation, I hated every single moment of it because there was a chance I could lose at every point, and just having to stare that possibility down after coming so far was really hard to agree with, especially because this thing just was a constant threat. And now we move on to the Nirvana turn with only 1 CB. I don't really have much to do, and I had to guard that because, you know, Eden with a double crit, like, again, I say, I have played 20 games at this point, probably more, and it's 20 can I remember off the top of my head, but each time, Eden has been the reason I lost because the restanding motherfucker of double critical and Bruce sacking a crit when I'm at 3 damage is hell. And even in this situation, like, no joke, when I got to this damage, in my mind, I had already lost. Because I have lost on this damage so many times to Bruce that at this point, my only game plan is to kill the Edens, slow them down, and pray my plan works. And the reason why I just the PG there for the Nirvana isn't because I wanted to get Bruins back. Fuck no. No, it was, again, I say, literally because I had already given up. At that point, knowing how many times Bruce can kill me, I just given up hope. I was like, I can't win this. I've lost. It's game over. GG's, my dude. But no, keeping going, and I pull another PG. And this is where I feel safe. This is where I feel safe because I know next turn, regardless, if I can take Bruce, and as long as a crit and an over don't come down, I'm safe because I can PG 3 attacks. So fuck Eden. If another Eden does come down, fuck this column. Just take Bruce, or fuck it, just guard Bruce, take the other 2, and I'm good. Like, it's not bad. I'm in a good situation here, and that's where I like. For the first time in this match, I felt confident, where I felt like I could take a sigh of relief. I even have a plan for next turn where I can go on the Persona ride, I can call boosters, I can do drive checks, so the crit comes down. Everything feels like it's going in my favor, especially because in these other games, especially the ones that happen off screen, because if you don't remember this being game 3, I had 2 more games before this where Bruce was just straight up hard sacking. Like, the extra crits, the extra heals, the extra draws, everything. Like, and I hated it to the point where in my mind, I was like, Bruce gonna sack a trigger, isn't he? And right there, right fucking there, at that moment, a 15 for a 2 to pass, I cannot tell you what my exact words being, oh, it's gonna be a trigger, isn't it? It's gonna be a trigger. It's gonna be a trigger. And I don't know why in my mind I didn't PG it. In my mind, just like, I was so tired, I was so done with this shit, I genuinely, like, misplayed, and it was a 15k shield. And in any other case, I would have PG, and that's what I mean by, like, me playing for real, it fucks with my head. Even in that case, even though the PG was the more cautious decision, I had dropped the crit, like, I was just so mentally dead out of thinking that I couldn't think about in the heal trigger. And me seeing this, I was like, no, it can't be, not the crit, and that's why I gave it to Megan. And there's the crit! The reason why I gave it to Megan isn't because out of pity because I wanted Nirvana to lose. No, because in that case, I was like, you know what? Bruce has gotten enough luck today. There's no way in hell that it's going to see another trigger. And if it does, then fuck me. So I'm going to put it on Megan. And seeing that crit, as both the Bruce and Nirvana player, I had like the sigh of relief and a goddamn, I should have put it on Van. Because again, I guarded it for 2 to pass thinking, you know, I'm dead anyways. Let's get this over with. Like, and seeing that come down, I was like, did I survive it? Did I deserve to live? And, like, having the Megans rush me down, having to PG this just to survive, like, knowing I was that close to death made me think that, you know what? Maybe I'm not dead after all. The gods are on my side, clearly. So, you know what? Let's give it everything we have. So, this is where I start picking up the pace and start going back to my normal self. We go on the Persona ride turn. We get the +10 to Vanguard. And let's turn up the music for this shit. And then I go for bar skill. I think I went for bar skill. I should have. Oh, yeah, no, that was me checking my drops. I'm trying to see if I had Trick Star. But yeah, no, there we go for bar skill. This game, I played it a very specific way. In any other game, I would have sacrificed bar here and tried to get out Braum by Rena. The reason why I didn't sacrifice bar immediately and why I kept that PG is because I felt like Bruce would make it to another turn, and because my entire game plan was meant specifically to stall out Bruce. There was no other point. because I knew, like, again, I say, after playing against Bruce so many times, I learned that the only way I was going to win against Bruce is if I can make them retire their rear guards and not force out hand, because I've gotten Bruce to the point where I could force out their hand, and that right there was me thinking, do I actually want to use Bar's skill? Because I know I'm locking myself into CB, and no joke, remember that anime moment where Yu was digging for the over trigger against Michiru? Yeah, that was my plan here, dig for the over, but, like, in this situation, I genuinely felt like this was the only way. Kill the rear guards. And that's why I kept Bar. Literally my least favorite of the crossover dresses is arguably the reason I won. Or not, maybe not won, but like the reason why I stayed alive this long, because I was getting rid of rear guards consistently enough to where I could slow down Bruce. But then here it came, the final rush, and I knew I was in trouble. Seeing that Eden, seeing that Megan, knowing it was only 2 PGs and half my hand being grade 3s, this to me was the final calling card that my ass is dead. Especially with a 30k Eden coming down on my face. But I have the intercept of Bruce, one of the few times to use that skill. I guard with the crit. In hindsight, I probably should have just guarded with the Lava Man. I don't know why I guarded with the crit, but fair enough. Counterblast 1, stand the column, and the numbers come down. And this is where I know I'm dead, because I can't block Megan. I can block 2 of these, but the issue is here. I have to take one of them. It's either game or it's not game. And we see the double triggers, and we see the over. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm fucked. I'm dead. I can't win. It's impossible. I actively can't win. I can block the Eden. I have to take the Megan now. It's game over. And the next turn, because I'm only going to probably, because I think my game plan here, I don't remember what I did, but I think I ditched the PG and I ditched Lava Main. And my mind is like, great, they have fucking 6 hand cards. One of them, I could see at this point, like I stopped trying to blonde out my mind and I knew what was in their hand. I'm like, they have 2 PGs, they have 2 heals, they have a fucking draw trigger. It's game. I can't win. I actively can't win. And like, especially because, again, I have to take this fucking Megan. Like, I'm dead. It's game over. And literally right here, I forgot what I was listening to, the music-wise. I think it was, like, Pokemon's X and Y theme from, like, you know, the dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, like, Greninja's theme. But, straight up, I remember in my mind, I was just straight up praying. And I actually did say it in real life, where I was like, God, please, 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 I beg of you. I don't care who wins, because at this point, I genuinely did it, because, again, like, this game happened before game 2. I was like, please, just let Nirvana pull a heal trigger so I can say the game was closed. And here we go. And by the way, again, this was at night, so I didn't yell it, but I was like in my mind eternally, yes! And then came down my turn, and I was like, you know what? After seeing that heal trigger, my hope got reinvigorated. I was like, you know what? We're going all in, baby! Game time! Persona Ride, plus 10. Skill of Nirvana, discard Braum from the hand, call from the drop zone, Trickstar, and I think I may have gone down to Strigalia, right? Yeah, and here's the thing, I would have used Strigalia in this situation, because I think I had another Trickstar and drop. The reason I didn't is because, you know, restand is a thing. And I'm like, go! Braum Virina, crossover dress, my favorite crossover dress if I haven't made that clear. And go, my heal trigger! I was ready to go all in for this, and I wanted to like, that was the moment where everything went to like shit for Bruce. Going in for the 43, Nirvana go in, counterblast, stand Braum, 28 Vanguard, PG. Actually, it wasn't a PG, it was a guard for a 2 to pass. And that was the moment where I was like, listen, all this time, Bruce has gotten lucky, but we can finally do it. Twin drive! First check, no trigger. Second check, no triggers. Still no triggers, but in this scenario, I know I've won. Bar swings for game, and it's over. Because you obviously want to block the Braum Virina in case, you know, you live. And it was game. And I was so incredibly happy to see Braum, or not Braum, but like Bar win. And in the end, like, that made me get a newfound respect for Bar, because again, I say Bar is my least favorite of the overdresses, and seeing Bar finally like get a win there and being the reason I stayed alive that long felt really good. So in the end, like, I really loved recording that game. There was a lot of hype moments for me personally. There are reasons why I did that game. The reason why I played it the way it is because, again, cautiously on the Nirvana side, just trying specifically to beat Bruce. And again, I say the deck actually works. Like, get rid of that one grade 2 that I said was useless, and the deck actually works as long as you're not playing specifically to win. Like, that's my experience. If you play for fun, the deck does some crazy shit, but if you're playing to win, it's how it is. So all around, it was just a fun game to record, and I enjoyed it. I'm glad that a lot of people liked it as well. 312, like, to some people that might not seem like a lot because I have 1,000 subscribers. By the way, thank you to all of you. And 347 views. That doesn't seem like a lot, but like, to me, just anyone viewing it in general, and like 11 likes, like, to me, any win is a win. Any win to me personally is a win, and I'm really glad about it. I felt so happy recording this, and I'm glad other people enjoyed it too. I know I don't have voices on my videos, and I know some people would prefer it with audio and voices, but when you're recording by yourself at like 2 a.m. in the morning, other people are sleeping, obviously there are some things you can't really do. And especially because like other people I play against typically have like stage fright, or like I know they don't play as best when they're on camera. Like we've tested this theory. They definitely don't play at their best at camera, and I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. So in the end, that's the game. I love recording this game so much, and there are other games here on my channel that I love recording too. This one specifically had a very interesting encounter, and this one down here, Bruce versus the Bruce versus Bruce matchup. Whew, I cannot wait for tomorrow for that to come. Sadly, I can't make it to the premiere like I couldn't make it to this one, but as per usual, but hey, it was still a fun match. So without further ado, I'm going to end it here. Thank you all for listening to my 30-minute long rant about this game and just like why I enjoyed it and me being a very bad commentator. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. And let me know any other videos you want me to do this for. And I'll see you all in the next one. So don't forget to check us out.